body design and his face design don't really match. The Jester mask looks almost theatrical, while the rest of his body looks mechanical and monstrous. It feels like two completely different things put together, and maybe that's because they are. The mask might simply be hiding something far worse underneath. There's also another detail from the early days of Playtime Company. Several scientists and staff members were reportedly terrified of the prototype. Some of them even wanted him to be destroyed. So if his appearance was that horrifying, it's possible the scientists themselves created the mask and the Jester costume for him, not to help him, but to hide what he really looked like, because whatever was underneath that mask might have been too disturbing for anyone in the facility to even look at. And if that's true, then the biggest mystery still remains. What does the prototype actually look like without the mask? And from a storytelling perspective, this idea actually makes a lot of sense. Think about it. In Chapter 5, the game finally revealed the prototype to us. For years, he was only a shadow, a hand, or a voice. But Chapter 5 finally showed his full appearance. So if the developers already revealed him, then what mystery is left for the next chapter? Well, what if that wasn't the real reveal yet? What if the real reveal happens later? Imagine this. In Chapter 6, during a major fight with the prototype, something happens in the middle of the battle. The mask cracks, or maybe it gets knocked off, and for the first time ever, we finally see his real face. A much more disturbing face hidden underneath the Jester mask. But there's another detail that makes this theory even more interesting. Some fans noticed something strange about the shrine we saw in Chapter 3, the one that Catnap created for the prototype. If you look closely at that shrine, the design doesn't actually match the prototype we see today. Not even a little. The shape, the skull-like structure, and the overall appearance feel very different from the Jester-like face we know now. So there are two possible explanations. The first possibility is that Catnap simply built the shrine using whatever parts he could find. He might have used bones, scraps, or other materials around the factory, so the design ended up looking different. But the second possibility is far more interesting. What if the shrine actually represents what the prototype really looks like without the mask? Not exactly the same, but similar in certain ways, especially the skull-like appearance. And remember something important. Catnap met the prototype long before the events of the game. In fact, before he even became Catnap, he was just an orphan in Playcare, which means he might have seen the prototype's real form at some point in the past. So when Catnap built that shrine, he may have been recreating the true face of the prototype from memory. And if that's true, then underneath the Jester mask, there could be a terrifying skull-like face hiding in the darkness. Something far more disturbing than what we've seen so far. But at the end of the day, this is still just a theory. So before we end this video, here's a quick recap so you don't forget anything. First, when the prototype talks, his face doesn't move at all. With other characters in the series, we can clearly see their mouths moving when they speak. Then there's the jump scare. When the prototype attacks, he barely opens his mouth. Compare that to characters like Huggy or other monsters in the series. They open their mouths wide and you can clearly see their teeth, but the prototype doesn't. And that strongly suggests that what we're seeing might not be a real face, but a mask. Then the theory became even stronger when the CG5 music video released. In that video, Prototype's face moves in a very strange way, almost like